This is lines 93 to 101 of Ovid's account of the story of Pyramus and Thisbe, these two lovers who are forbidden to get together, and so they've decided to leave their house, leave the city, and go meet in a place you probably should never meet at, which is a graveyard, essentially, at the tomb of Ninus. And so all sorts of foreshadowing for what's to come here. So this is them sneaking out. So she, clever through the shadows, with the door hinge, the cardo, having been turned, and then we get Thisbe's name, she leaves. So Thisbe, clever through the shadows, with the door hinge turned, leaves. And she deceives her own people, family members, the guards, etc. And having veiled her face, having covered her face, she arrives at the tomb. And notice that all these verbs are present tense, but we're going to lapse into the perfect here. So there she sat, and she sat on the, or under the tree, having been spoken. So the agreed upon tree. Love was making her bold. Great dictum there. Now we're going back into the present tense to make it more impactful. So something comes, we don't know yet, but it's surprising because Ovid tells us ecce. So look, behold, something comes. Something is recent or fresh, and it's in the ablative here. So, with the fresh slaughter. So we know this is not good, and then the next word is the crux here. So the lioness. So look, behold, a lioness comes with fresh slaughter, and then we got of cattle. And then spumantes rictus, her foaming jaws, foaming jowls, and then oblita, having smeared. So we see that this verb oblita here is literally having been smeared, and as in the past, we have an accusative of respect, right? So having been smeared with respect to her foaming jowls, but that sounds pretty awful, and that's not really exactly what Ovid's getting at with this Latin. So more to the point, we're going to assume, or we're going to decide that this is really active in meaning. So having smeared her foaming jowls with the fresh slaughter of cattle, this lioness comes here. And she's described as about to literally put down, but slake or quench her thirst in the water. Now, literally, unda's wave, right? But and that's very poetic. A wave is a very visual kind of word. You get the sense of motion here, but we really just mean the water of a neighboring fountain, of a nearby fountain. And her and it, the lioness, from afar, at the rays of the moon, Babylonian Thisbe saw. So remember, in Latin, you can start out a whole brand new thought with a QU word, with a WH word, right? With a whom. In English, you can't do that, and so the equivalent here is et eam. So, and Babylonian Thisbe saw her, or it, the lioness, at the rays of the moon, or maybe by the rays of the moon. And she fled into a dark cave with a timid foot. So a little bit of personification there. And while she flees, so this one is actually present tense. While she flees, she left behind her Willamina, having slipped off of her back.